Hello, this is Jared playing Oxygen Not Included. In the last episode, I set up this super rocket with all kinds of space and life-supporting mechanisms over here. Just waiting for oxygen to load in here. So in the meantime, over in this world, I made a liquid airlock. I've got a vacuum area over here, and we're going to go down into this zone to visit all the stuff that's here. We were down here earlier. Got some Saturn critter traps planted. I'd like to go visit those again. So we're down into this radioactive zone. Don't want the coldness to seep up too much, so I've got this little tunnel area here with the insulation around. Starting off digging out all kinds of stuff. Get some ice. What I'd like to do is make a path so I can make ultimately a vacuum area going down like this. Sorry, bud, didn't you see there? Zip. We're filling in tiles over here as we are digging the path down and adding a vacuum layer further and further down. Just making one change to my rocket, putting in a second thermoregulator. Just in case it's needed in the future. It's going to have a different automation. So if this hydrogen that's going around gets really hot, in certain circumstances, I'll be able to run 2 of these. It's a lot easier to do this when I've got liquid in here, rather a steam area. So I thought, you know what, let's just do it now, just in case this is needed. I'm not 100% sure it will, but I'd rather it be there either way. So digging out this spot here and just realized, what do I have in here? I was worried about liquid things and I had polluted dirt, which means I now have polluted oxygen. So I'm going to start to fill this in, build a pump, and we'll recreate this vacuum. So I've got a spot here full of tiles. Got rid of the polluted oxygen that's in here, so we'll be able to safely get down. What I'd like to do is have a second liquid airlock. This one, not going to be water, because water would freeze. Fortunately, for the last while, we've been attending to these slickers, and we've got some crude oil, so I think that'd be a good thing to send over there. We've got our 2 thermoregulators. This one is looking for if the hydrogen is really hot, then and only then will we have the second one going. Piping head to be a little bit funny here. We're going into the one. If we go into this one and bypass to the second one, otherwise they drain out like this. But I see lots of oxygen in here, so I think it is time to actually stop accepting hydrogen from the base, and we'll start producing our own on the rocket itself. So I'll cut this right here. So now we've got some crude oil sitting here. That's preventing this vacuum from getting out. That means at this point we can actually seal off this zone here and require dupes go through the vacuum area when they want to go in and out of the base, rather than leaving this open to a little bit of cold that'll be seeping up. Digging into the Bissolite area here. This is going to be a future set of steam turbines. This is where the hot steam is going to be, thanks to all this magma that's down here. It's going to heat it up. So I'm constructing a new rocket. This one has the sole purpose of storing natural gas. It's only ever going to journey a short distance from this asteroid over to here. This asteroid, Twigsta, let's look. There is plenty of natural gas. And I don't really have a great source for producing or collecting natural gas where I'm at. But if I simply go over here, I could just pump it in. So that is what this rocket is. It's going to have a storage area for that natural gas up here. We're going to get some brine and seal this off. And this will pretty much be the main component of this rocket. Loading some oxygen in this rocket. We've got a lavatory as well. Gonna go such a short distance that if I leave not too close before dinner, I won't need food in this rocket. I also don't need oxygen on it as well, except for the fact I do need, if I'm gonna have a battery, I'll definitely want to have some atmosphere in here. But the dupes are going to be flying with Atmos suits. It's just such a short journey. The only reason I'm actually having a battery, I'm going to have a manual generator, and I'll put in an oxygen diffuser, is just in case we get into the jam, some sort of unexpected situation. But generally speaking, I'm not expecting to need this. Basically, just a very short journey, place to use the washroom, and we'll just sit tight while natural gas goes back to the homeworld in this rocket. Gonna try loading some barbecue meats in my rocket. A little bit nervous how this is gonna go. I did this with a different type of food, but not yet with barbecue meat. Let's see what happens. So I have barbecue meat, 40,000 calories. It's in deep frozen state. I want to move it to my Explorer rocket. I've got a vacuum area down here. If it gets there in a frozen state, we're awesome. But that's yet to be known, if it can actually do that. I'm just worried in the transportation process whether that is going to actually heat up. So rockets picked it up. We've got temperature minus 23, minus 22.9. It's going up, but as long as they can get it in the... Well, I assume the vacuum area will be okay. We'll just splash through liquid. I think it went through that increase pretty quick, but I think we got there. I think we're going to get there. Alright, so inside this rocket, I now have 40,000 calories. Food is in a deep freeze status, which is really awesome. What I might do, just out of abundance of caution, is lower the temperature of the deep freeze a little bit, just to make sure that that always stays the case. Wrong direction here. There we go. So now that these dupes have access to these plants, they've harvested them. Plants are looking for more meat. That means more hydrogen. I'm also enabled auto harvest of these little guys too. And I want to plant more of these next to this one over here, and I think I'll even add another set over here as well. I just need to dig a path to be able to get there. So we're about to test this Super Rocket Explorer, along with this rocket called Natural Gas. It'll begin the launch sequence for each of these. Oh! Ah! This rocket doesn't even have a control station. I guess I forgot to put that back in. I don't know where I want to put this. Be kind of strange to put it in the washroom, but for now, I'll put it there. I might want to change that up later. I guess natural gas rocket's gonna arrive first. I think we are finally ready now. Gonna begin launch sequence. We've got our bunker door open. It's been an investment in this rocket, so I figure we'll have a bunker door. Limited steel, so I haven't covered too much of the sky just yet. What are we waiting for, dupes? Both do. Let's have a look inside. First of all, it's really nice. They should automatically have their Atmos suits taken off, which is nice. I think we're wait. Oh, there's the other dude. We should be taking off soon then. There it is. Explorer looks like a tiny little rocket, but in reality, it's actually quite large in here. I'm just curious whether that ruined my washroom status. It did not. So a control station is in the washroom. Sure, for the time being, that's fine, I guess. Let's make databanks. Make that forever. I don't have any one of those dupes that can use a telescope. Maybe I can change that. So that is explore rocket. Each only have none of them have the ability to do that. That's fine. I'll get them to have that skill later on. Even though these rockets left at the same time, the natural gas rocket's a little bit bigger, so it took longer to get here. It's bigger on the outside, that is. So Explorer and natural gas is actually not going to get at the asteroid that far apart from each other, which is kind of nice because inside this rocket, this dupe doesn't have any food, and Hammer's very much relying on the other rocket landing, and as well as morale that Hammer can get from this rocket's not that great. So it's going to be very important that on Twigsta, both rockets land here soon. For Hammer's sake, anyway. There's a natural gas rocket landing here. So it very much could be that Hammer inside is looking... Now, they've got an atmosuit on now. Actually, let's disable that building. Of course, they're... Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. That's fine. That's great. Alright, so there is Explorer landing, and this is really good for Hammer. It's also just a good test in general of this rocket that has in it over 100,000 calories of food, so the dupes don't have to produce their own food. That's high quality food on top of that, and it's not going to go bad. So that's going to be really good for morale and survival. We don't have to spend cycles producing any food, worrying about temperature of farming and all that type of thing. Lots of morale to get the dupes along here, and we can get on with our project. Caught one of the dupes sleeping on this cot. Hammer. I highly recommend you sleep in here. I think you'll have a much better time, Hammer. So here is the project I have for these two dupes. Basically collecting natural gas. And we've got plenty of it. So that is going to be a pump. We've got to power it up, so we've got a wire going into it from the top area where I've got some solar panels. And we've got a gas pipe going all the way up. Now at the same time, I'm going to need to get back. But I've got plenty of carbon dioxide in this room here for that. That's going to go up. Carbon dioxide obviously is going to go to the two engines. Natural gas will go over here. A little bit of filtering just to make sure that everything I get is actually natural gas before it gets stored inside the rocket. Natural gas. So we've got a pip on the way in this little area. Put some Saturn critter trap seeds, 3 of them. Gonna get the pip to plant the first one right here. Oh yeah, no, that's just a light, they can't plant there. Awesome. Second one's gonna go over here. Nice job, Pip. 2 things wrong here. I noticed, first of all, well, Pip went in there instead of these guys. But I should have actually made this natural aluminum ore tiles a little bit lower so these guys could get into it. That's how it worked over here. It really works better when these traps are yeah, flat with the home for these beta hives. The dupes did really well here. We've got both carbon dioxide and natural gas pipe going in towards the top here. A little filter for natural gas. Anything that's not natural, just didn't necessarily mean to do that. Let's just double check. Let's just clear that off there. But yeah, so natural gas is going in the storage container. My 2 engines are already full, so that's awesome. We just need to wait for natural gas to build up. Now, since we're here, one of the things... Whoops, wrong asteroid. One of the things I want to do is collect a lot of metal ore. And there's a fair bit of it here, actually. Iron ore specifically, that would be great for steel production. So why don't we collect a lot of that? That's iron ore. We'll just copy that setting on all these bins. I'm not sure that we're going to actually get them all filled, but maybe we'll get a few. We can even start the process of digging out some iron ore wherever we see it. Now, I just made a aluminum ore tile right here, and I'm a touch worried. When I say touch worried, I'm pretty worried about the consequences of doing it. Specifically, I'm going to have the same issue over here. Because of this hot abyssalite. Abyssalite is a good insulator, but when it gets this hot, it doesn't function that well. So, easy solution is just to put a vacuum underneath it. So let's get a dupe down here and do that as soon as possible, please. So we get a vacuum underneath this tile, which is really nice. We're going to do the same thing over here. See this increasing pretty quickly, which does not make me feel great. So if we can get these two tiles dug out, the sooner the better. After some very careful maneuvers here, we've got 3 natural tiles. Get some pips in this area. They're planting these little critters, or plants that are going to consume critters. But yeah, very, very important that I get my vacuum spots in here just right, just the right time. We had a little bit of heating, but not too bad. This risk may have been a little too high, but these 2 plants aren't happy at the moment because the body temperature... The temperature of this ore here is going down. I think it will go down. I think it has to go below freezing, which it'll get to. So I think it's going to be fine as long as these plants don't wilt and undo themselves in the meantime. We're going to get some pips over this area here. This is going to be a much easier one. We don't have that hot abyssalite issue this time around. Just realizing one little issue I didn't do before we took off with this rocket. Never actually connected the pump of hydrogen, so we're not getting that hydrogen towards this guy here. Also, I don't even think I connected this so it could even consume it. There we go. At least now we've got that. I've seen a dupe over here running, just wasn't producing enough power. I thought that was kind of strange. Realizing just now that I failed to realize one thing. The Atmo suits need to be recharged, refreshed. I've got some worn Atmo suits, and I don't really know what to do with them. The dupes don't know what to do with them. Okay, so I'm going to have to disable this. Not a particularly dangerous environment. In fact, dupes have been out here in the past. There is oxygen around here, so that's a good thing. What am I going to do? I think I'm going to get rid of the private bedroom for each of the dupes while they're out in space. And we've got to put an exosuit forge in here. Now, just about to put that exosuit forge in, I realized I don't have fiber reed. Didn't think to bring that. So we'll build it, but I guess this is important to do a test on an asteroid that I'm not terribly too far away from. But yeah, no, this we definitely need fiber reed and a machine to actually, this is actually a station. To actually repair these. Oh, I don't have enough refined metal. Well, I guess no more Atmos suits for the time being. We're going to have to repair that when we get this rocket back home. This mission was by no means a complete failure. We still have 100,000 calories plus of food in deep frozen state. We're producing our own oxygen. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Power production is going on. We just need to be able to actually repair these Atmos suits as the dupes are wearing them. So let's, and we've got lots of natural gas, which we'll be able to use. So I think it's time to go back home and we'll make a repair to the rockets when we're there. But we can also utilize this natural gas that we have. We can start cooking some things we weren't able to cook before in a gas range. Rockets are taking off. Pretty sure natural gas is going to be a little bit slower behind, just because it's a bigger rocket, at least from the outside. Yeah, half a cycle for it, 0.3 cycle for Explorer. So this is Explorer on the way home. Boots is driving from the washroom. But this is what I like to see. We've got a dupe here running the orbital data collection lab, making some data banks. That's going to help with research further down in the game. So Rocket now has the ability to use a telescope. Only odd thing is, we're landed. And I believe, unless they're looking at meteorites, hold on, I never considered that. Don't see anything. I don't, unless this was something that I just destroyed my telescope before I was actually supposed to. Usually it says area complete. Anyway, let's just leave that alone for the time being. The other thing I'm looking at... Oh, it says area complete. Oh, that may be what I did. I destroyed my telescope too earlier. Okay, well, never mind that. Let's get this set up. This is going to be the ability to actually repair our atmosuits, which is so important. Never really considered this. But, yeah, now that I think about it, this is absolutely essential to have. If you want to explore for any length of time, really, other than just kind of peeking down on the surface for a short visit. Just realized another issue I have with this rocket. Let's get all the kinks out of this before we go to a faraway asteroid. But the smart battery was connected, but it wasn't actually being charged, so effectively the hydrogen generator was just running continuously, which was not needed. So we're going to put that in, and then once that is built, I can reconnect this hydrogen line, just like this. There we go. So the idea is when the smart battery gets filled, it's telling this guy, hey, turn off, you don't need to run. Another boo-boo. I was sending oxygen, unfortunately, into this rocket, so we've got a mix of oxygen and natural gas. At this point, I think it's probably easier just to filter rather than roll back. One thing I am pleased about is I did remember not to leak natural gas out in space, so I cut this. But yeah, I suspect we are going to, yeah, there it is, a little bit of oxygen, that's fine. I've got a system, easily can handle that. So that natural gas is the first time I've got natural gas heading towards my base. And I'm doing some research on a gas range right now as we speak, if it's not already complete. But this is going to filter out that natural gas. We're going to send that down towards the kitchen area. And we'll put our gas range here. Oh, I can see there's a little marker here indicating that research has been complete. Put our gas range in right here. And we're going to connect this with our new natural gas line. Like that. For the longest time, these dupes have been storing ingredients over here in the deep freeze. What I'm instructing them to do now is put all those ingredients in this fridge. Auto Sweeper is going to start the process of bringing that home to the other world, where we can start cooking with it. Better make sure to set this back to have some food for the dupes to be able to eat. Just watching the ingredients for pepper bread make its way down to the deep freezer. I'll be able to actually create my first piece of pepper bread. It says there's not enough ingredients, so I have to wait a little bit more
patience there, Jer, but we do have our natural gas. We can create surf and turf, actually. Why don't we do that? Create a few pieces of that. So that's taking the barbecue meat. Actually, let's just make that forever. Whenever that's available, we'll make that a thing. Pepper bread we can't make just yet, but we will pretty soon. The other thing is we've got... oh yeah, these plants are happy again. So things have cooled off. So we've tripled the amount of hydrogen that we're getting from this setup. Notice that hydrogen is going to start accumulating here. You know what? Why don't we actually make a door just to prevent that, encourage that to go left. Dig this out a little bit. But all that's going into this pump. So we've got those three. We've got the three we've had before, and we've got 3 additional ones. We're just getting a crazy amount of hydrogen. That's going to help the power situation. I have never really had a power situation ever since I put those initial 3, so I'm over almost at 800 kilograms per tile here. So we're doing quite well with power and hydrogen. The next step, now that we've got natural gas sitting here and we're able to cook our first pieces of pepper bread and surf and turf, our next step is to take the rocket out again. This time with some of the, working out some of the kinks that we kind of failed on. I very much want to make sure that we get some reed fiber stored within the rocket before we take off. But what I want to do, I want to start a second mission. This time going to Equisilia, the oily asteroid, and then eventually Stinkani, where we can get a number of resources that we don't have so far. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been pretty fun testing out this rocket. This is the first time actually testing a super rocket. I've built these before, but never really ran it on a full mission. So yeah, definitely learning a few things, including making sure you get an exosuit forge on this thing, because that'll help quite a bit. All right, well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.